Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Tuesday, May 23rd, around 2 p.m. Mountain Time 2023. You're looking at the town of Puebla in Mexico, covered in ash, as Popo, the volcano, alert level is raised, and it continues to spew ash on tens of thousands of people. But the big story tonight is Super Typhoon Mawar. It is barreling towards Guam in just a few hours with potential Cat 5 devastating hurricane effects. Keep calm. It's boom time. The full forecast in just a moment. Large hail, severe weather possible in the plains today. Flood watch in Florida, especially the Panhandle. And that is Tuesday's forecast. Strong to severe storms possible in the high plains on Tuesday. We'll get to that in a second here. Storms could also bring hail and strong winds to parts of Oklahoma today. And lightning strike kills a 24-year-old man in Florida. Sad news coming out from Florida. A man was struck and killed by a lightning strike while he was working on a roof, according to authorities. This is the fourth lightning-related death in the U.S. this year, according to the National Lightning Safety Council. And those deaths will increase as we deepen into the magnetic excursion and grand solar minimum. Super Typhoon is approaching Guam 6 to 9 hours out from landfall on the southern portion of that island. Severe weather potential across the southern plains. Intensifying Typhoon Mawar continues approaching Guam as on the forecast track. The storm will pass over or near the island during Wednesday. The island Rota, Tinian, and Sapian will also be affected by this storm with strong winds, heavy rain, and dangerous surf conditions. Meanwhile, severe thunderstorms with strong winds and large hail are expected across portions of the southern plains today, with flood warnings out for the Florida Panhandle and southern, it looks like, Alabama and Georgia there. So click on your county for more information, and do not drive through the water if the road is flooded. Now, a monster typhoon is barreling towards Guam with deadly winds and a potential 25-foot storm surge. Take a look. Super Typhoon Mawar is barreling towards Guam Tuesday, threatening to slam into the U.S. territory as the strongest storm in 60 years. The typhoon, which has strengthened rapidly in recent days, is posing a triple threat of devastation, including deadly winds equivalent to Cat 5, exceptional storm surge, and torrential rainfall, according to the National Weather Service in Guam. Let's take a look at the models here, and we will run through the path of the destruction of the storm. Here we are, the little pink swirling typhoon marker there is right on the low pressure center. The eye is to the south, and it looks like it's going to make landfall at over 160 miles per hour. Currently, the storm is packing 155 mile per hour winds. In just a few hours, by 6 p.m. tonight, 160 mile per hour winds, and that is expected to be low-level Cat 5 as it moves across Guam later tonight, early into the morning. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the people in Guam. Get inland as far as you can and hunker down. This is going to be devastating. Here is the Saffir-Simpson scale. Whew, say that 5 times there. Saffir-Simpson wind scale of categories that we use in the United States. Cat 1 through 5, 5 being the most catastrophic, with 157 mile per hour winds or greater. This is modeled to be at 160 miles per hour right before landfall. So that will be a Cat 5 storm that moves across Guam overnight. Worst time that could possibly happen in that region. So thoughts and prayers go out to them. Let's take a look at the GFS model for the U.S. Severe weather threat up in the northern tier here tomorrow, as well as Texas. So that's a heads up. And the good news, if we look at the total precipitated water up in Alberta and BC, there's going to be some nice quenching snow and rain there over the next few days. And the precipitation has already begun to fall, and some of the fires are getting quelched. As we can see on the smoke map here, much less smoke in the U.S. and overall that we've been looking at over the last few weeks. In just a few days, many of these fires will be greatly reduced, which is good news for people that suffer from air quality issues like asthma, difficulty breathing. Deadly snowstorms sweep Mongolia, and heavy snow traps thousands in Argentina. Whew. Couple fascinating things. For the first time in decades, snow has made it all the way through the summer in New Zealand. I didn't pull up that article, but that is some interesting news. And now we have some other things going on worldwide, including deadly snows in Mongolia and heavy snow trapping thousands in Argentina. So there is cooling afoot, and record ice is building on Greenland. Just 3 days ago, record ice building in territory, 3 events in the last few months. As we go into the melt season, we are experiencing 6 gigatons of ice gain just a few weeks before the melt season. And the media, once again, is silent. Now, we opened off the podcast with pictures of Puebla covered in ash as Mexico raises the alert level on Popo, which is a volcano rumbling near the capital. Volcano stoplight raised after billowing ash shuts the airport 2 days ago. Officials check evacuation routes in case a red alert is triggered. So we could be seeing a large VEI3 event potentially from Popo. And if you come over to Oppenheimer Ranch Project at Diamond the Dave, you would have seen just earlier today. Well, first, let's take a look at that eye wall moving towards Guam. Fantastic. You would have seen that, but you would have also seen these images of the city of Puebla covered in ash from Popocatépetl. Here we can see images of the city of Puebla covered in ash on May 22nd, yesterday. Just a light covering, making everything powdered, so to speak. Looking glorious there in Puebla. So heads up if you are on the flanks of Popo. Still puffing to 30,000 feet, here is the Worldwide Volcano News Update. Popo, Semaru, Reventador, Sangay, White Island, Liwotolo, Cerro Bravo, and Sabancaya. Now, Sabancaya to 20,000, Swanosima to 4,000, Popo to 30,000 feet, volcanic ash, though that is some of the ash falling out on Puebla there. There was a scare at Cerro Bravo in Colombia because there was a hole in the ground that was emanating steam and smoke. But geochemical analysis found the gases are non-volcanic, probably a lightning strike, and some roots burning underground, perhaps. The Ahi undersea volcano in the Marianas Islands, the alert level has been raised to yellow. Quite interesting there as activity is increasing. And White Island has seen no significant changes since the last update. There we can see some of the activity from Popo, with increased activity manifesting in a series of large paroxysms, puffing to 30,000. Space weather news, we're on a low-level geomagnetic storm watch for the next few days as a coronal hole stream is set to couple with Earth and drive us up into low-level G1 geomagnetic storm. That could mean good aurora tonight. So far, the aurora probability is quite low, but the coronal hole has not coupled with us yet. So we're waiting for a phi angle shift, which may be happening now. And that's going to send the density up and then the plasma speed, which is already high above 500 kilometers per second, up above 600, and then low-level geomagnetic storm. Now, have you heard a meteor crashed into northern Queensland the other day, and it was a fantastic bolide witnessed by almost everyone.
Meteor has lit up the skies over Queensland and also lit up social media, with hundreds of shocked people asking what on earth was that? The spectacular sight was captured far and wide, with experts now trying to determine where it landed.
9:22 on Saturday night, a far north Queensland paddock party became an out-of-this-world event.
The bright kind of big solid ball of light that people saw, plus that bluey-green color, all point to it being a meteor.
From Cairns to Townsville, Mackay to Mount Isa, dash cams, security cameras, mobile phones captured the moment the sky turned from night to day.
We had a great big flash of light that lit up our whole house and outside.
The kids actually saw it. They said it's lightning. They said, Mum, Dad, it's lightning. We're like, there's no lightning. There's not a cloud in the sky.
Rebecca and Gary even heard the sonic boom.
Like it made the house shake, but it wasn't from the ground. Like it was a very different sound, I thought.
That sonic boom that was reported all throughout the region was the meteor itself breaking apart, potentially signing that fragments of the rock have landed on the ground. 30 years ago, people saw, I saw a bright flash. it could have ranged from a meteor to alien. Here you're able to pinpoint saying, yep, that is definitely a meteor, even estimating its size and potential composition.
Because of its brightness, it's believed to have been around 0.5 metre to a metre in size and travelling tens of thousands of kilometres an hour.
Definitely something to get people talking.
And wondering what else is out there.
And Leah and I have been discussing the biggest threat to Earth that we believe is bolides, an impact or an airburst above the Earth to end our way of life as we know it. It is a lot less known about how many of these objects are entering and how often they are, but due to our research, it has become evident that an object striking Earth is going to happen, and it will be devastating. Join us on Revolution Radio every Saturday noon Mountain Time in Studio B for our radio show Cosmic Catastrophe. Now on with the science. Scientists figure out how many Tyrannosaurus rex ever existed, and it's terrifying. The T-Rex dinosaur royalty, an iconic and instantly identifiable species with the gigantic teeth and the voracious appetite. According to a new study, as many as 1.7 billion of these beasts roamed Earth before the unfortunate meeting with an asteroid some 64 million years ago. It takes a lot of number crunching to figure this out, everything from the average lifespan to sexual maturity to the number of T-Rex eggs that survived has to be calculated and factored in to reach the estimate. While 1.7 billion is undoubtedly a large figure, it's some 800 million dinosaurs fewer than the original estimate reached by a 2021 study. So there were potentially billions of very dangerous animals running around the planet 65 million years ago, and that's terrifying. Thank God I wasn't born back then. Now, PA researchers have found an iconic bird thought to be extinct for decades. And if you know about Tom Nelson, you will know that he's famous for pointing out that the ivory-billed woodpecker sightings are nothing more than nonsense. And here, well, is nothing more than nonsense. According to reports, people in Pennsylvania claim that they have seen the iconic ivory-billed woodpecker. It's nothing more than a pileated woodpecker, and these reports are kind of ridiculous. There are the shots here and here. I don't think it's an ivory-billed woodpecker, but what say you? The mystery continues. What's not a mystery? Go woke, go broke. The Little Mermaid is the latest of Disney's poor, unfortunate remakes. Yeah. I went over to check out the trailer here. Take a look at this. 5,000 thumbs down, 600 thumbs ups. Way to go, Disney. Go woke, go broke. Now, apparently, AI is also going to affect the world in a big way, starting now. An AI-generated hoax of an explosion at the Pentagon went viral online overnight, and markets briefly dipped because people believed the fake image. Apparently, an AI-generated photo faking an explosion near the Pentagon in D.C. went viral. An Arlington Police Department confirmed the image was fake, but when the news was shared by a reputable Twitter account on Monday, the market briefly dipped. That is just mind-boggling. But the White House has warned that stocks will plunge. 45% and a deep recession will strike, and people will starve to death in the third quarter if the U.S. defaults on its debt. And the probability that U.S. banks will restrict cash withdrawals is rising like mercury. Are you picking it up? We just put it down. That's a boom to knowledge. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Please share this video as we are shadow banned and we need your help to grow. Hit the thumbs up and become a Patreon. Support the work we do. We love you. Be safe. And that is a boom.